All right, let's dive into a story that really gets you thinking. It's all about perception, self-worth, and, that huge difference between people just looking at you versus someone actually truly seeing you.
So the story just drops us right into it. Bam, a single, brutal line thrown at our main character, Anaya. This isn't just some mean comment whispered in a corner. It's said out loud for everyone. It's like this public judgment, right? And it immediately shows you the kind of harsh reality she's living with day in and day out. And that really sets the stage for our first section here, the sting of words. We're going to look at how the way other people see her reflection basically, gets turned into a weapon against her. And it's so important to get this. That bench comment, that wasn't a one-time thing. Her everyday life was just this constant barrage of snickers and whispers. Think about that. You're either completely invisible or you're the punchline. It just wears you down, it chips away at who you are. And this is where all that cruelty leads. In this really vulnerable moment with her friend Arav, she just lays it bare. She's so beaten down that she's internalized it completely. She doesn't just feel like the target of the joke anymore. She believes she is the joke. But then Arav comes in with this total shift in perspective. He doesn't just say, "Oh, don't worry about it." He reframes the whole thing. He's like, "No, the problem isn't you. The problem is them." He plants this tiny seed of an idea that maybe, just maybe, they're the ones who are missing something.
And that little seed, it starts to take root, which brings us to a huge turning point in the story, a promise in the mirror. This is where Anaya decides, you know what? I'm taking the pen back. I'm writing my own story now.
So that night, she's standing there looking at herself, and it's like a switch flips. When she says this, it's not just her being fed up. It's a declaration. It's this powerful promise she makes to herself that this feeling, this pain, it ends now. This is where her journey really begins. And what I love about how this is told is that it's not some easy, magical transformation. The story shows us the grind. It was real. It was waking up when it's still dark, legs screaming in pain, fighting off every single craving, and then staring at the scale feeling like you failed. It was just hard, relentless work. So she hits a wall. She's exhausted, she's ready to quit, and then she gets this text from Arav. And this is so, so important because it changes everything about why she's doing this. It stops being about revenge or showing up her bullies. It becomes an act of self-care. The goal isn't to prove them wrong. The goal is because she deserves to feel strong. For her. Okay, so months go by, she's put in the work, and her physical transformation is, well, it's done. But the prize at the end of the finish line, it's not what she thought it would be. This is what we're calling the illusion of acceptance, because her new reflection brings a whole new, really confusing problem. All of a sudden, those same hallways where she was a ghost are buzzing with attention. But you gotta look at the kind of attention she's getting. Hey, wanna get coffee? Need help with those notes? It's all on the surface, all tied to this transformation. It's totally superficial. I mean, look at this. The contrast is just wild. The insults have become invitations. The same people who called her the joke are suddenly offering to help her study. But here's the kicker. Anaya, the person, her personality, her mind, none of that has changed. Only her reflection has. And her reaction to all this new attention is probably not what you'd expect. She absolutely hates it. And you'd think anyone would love this kind of validation, right? But for Anaya, it just feels wrong. Deeply, frustratingly wrong. And this is why. She tries to explain it to Arav. This attention isn't for her. It's for the new image, the new body. She gets it. They didn't suddenly discover how funny she is or how kind she is. They just noticed her looks. She's still invisible, just in a new, more popular packaging. This realization is what brings us to the real heart of the story, the emotional peak. We're calling it the one who saw. And it all comes down to this one conversation that changes absolutely everything. So she turns to Arav, the one person who's been there the whole time, and she asks him the hardest question of all. It's so vulnerable, so risky, because it puts their whole friendship on the line. Was he just like everyone else? Would he have looked right past her too? And his answer, it's so simple, so direct, but so unbelievably powerful. He just shuts down all her doubt. He confirms that while everyone else was either looking away or pointing and laughing, to him, she was always there, always visible.
But she has to dig deeper. She has to know for sure. She asks if he still saw her, even in those darkest moments when she couldn't even look at her own reflection. This is the real test, right? This is her biggest insecurity laid bare.
And his response? Wow. Just 2 words, but they hit with so much weight. He didn't see her in spite of her self-loathing. He saw her because of it. He saw the pain, the struggle, her humanity, when literally no one else did. Not even her. So years pass, they're together, and he gives her one last test. But it's not about love, it's about trust. He basically says, be with me, but only if you truly believe that my support for you has nothing to do with what the world thinks. That I'd be right here even if everyone started ignoring you again. And her answer is just perfect. It's not a promise about the future, it's a statement of fact. She's like, dude, I already made that choice. She chose him ages ago because he already proved he was the one who would stand by her when there was nothing in it for him. And that brings us to this beautiful conclusion. It's about what happens after the big dramatic moments. This final part is about being more than a reflection. That quiet journey to finally truly believing you are enough, just as you are.
Years later, the story ends with Anaya as a bride, looking in the mirror. But this smile is different. It's not for a camera. It's not for anyone else. It's this quiet, peaceful smile of real self-acceptance. It's the look of someone who knows deep down that she is worthy.
And really, that's the whole point of the story, isn't it? Anyone can be attracted to an image, to a polished reflection, but true connection? That happens when someone falls in love with the real person behind it all. The messy parts, the beautiful parts, the truth. So the question this leaves us with is, what are we really looking for? To be noticed or to be truly seen?